Well, hello. Yesterday we did floor 1 of shelf 1, and now we're going to do floor 2 of shelf 1. So we left off with regular show Mordecai and Rigby in 8-Bit Land, and now we're going to go with Skylanders Giants. So this game's pretty cool. I actually think it's better than the console version. It's a lot faster, they add in jumping. I think it's a really, really great game. And I've heard that Swap Force is really good too. The only problem is, okay, the original Giants and Trap Team use the same base, which is the base that I have. Swap Force has its own specific base. And to top it off, I have never found a Skylander Swap Force base in real life. Probably because it's, a 3DS base exclusive, which, makes it really hard to, get a base out of it. And I only found one Skylander Swap Force base, and of course the batteries were corroded, so it was basically unusable. But this game's really, really great. Lots of good stuff there. Next up is Sonic Generations, which is a good game. I really do like it. I've played quite a lot of it. But of course I do have my annoyances with it. The stage choices are just really annoying. They could have gone for a handheld Sonic history and choose more stages from handheld games, but instead they stuck with the console versions. The only really time that they made a handheld specific stage was I think it was Water Palace. From Sonic Rush. Other than that, everything else is just from the console games, which is kind of annoying. But, other than that, it's got some pretty good level design. It's pretty fun. I do like how all the stages, aside from Green Hill, are different from the console version, so you are getting pretty much a completely different experience. And actually, the final boss, I think, is better on the 3DS. It's faster paced and doesn't have Tails telling you about a homing shot every 5 seconds. So, yeah. Needs more, different choices in stages, though. Actually, going back to that, one annoying choice is they include Radical Highway from Sonic Adventure 2, which Sonic didn't even play that stage. And not only that, but the boss of that area is BioLizard, Phase 1 of BioLizard, which Sonic didn't even fight that phase as well. It's a very odd choice, just in general. Super Mario 3D Land, absolutely fantastic game. Literally, absolutely fantastic. If you want to get a 3DS, this is the game you get with it. Just absolutely amazing platformer. Yeah, this is my exact same copy I've owned ever since I got my 3DS. The exact same copy. Theatrhythm Final Fantasy Curtain Call, or as this GameStop box says, Theatrhythm Final Fant Curtain Call. It's a long name, so I can't fit it all. It's a pretty good game, all things considered. I'm not really a Final Fantasy fan, and nor do I really want to learn about Final Fantasy, so it doesn't have the same impact as Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory does. But it's still a good game. I like the Kingdom Hearts music, so it's a fine rhythm game. But I'm not going to say any more than that, because I don't really have much attachment to to Final Fantasy, except for one game, which we'll get to later. Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds for $39.99. I remember really enjoying this game when I first got it. This is not my same copy. This is a second copy. But I remember really enjoying it, and then I dropped off of it. I bought it again expecting to play it, and you know what? I haven't even touched this once. I put it in just to make sure it works, and I have not played it once, and I've had it for about a year and a half. Got to get around to playing this again someday, but, motivation just kind of lacking with playing this game. But it's a great game. I remember when I used to own it, when I owned it for the first time, I remember spending a lot of time in it. Tomodachi Life, just absolutely fantastic. If you were to calculate how many hours I've spent in this, it would probably be like 300 or more. I absolutely love Tomodachi Life. It's literally a game where, kind of like Animal Crossing, it'll never get old. You know, you play it for a week, and then you don't play it for a couple months. You come back you come back to it, and you can play it for a whole week again. It is just absolutely fantastic. Really amazing game. And I wish we got more of them. But we only got one, Tomodachi Life. WarioWare Gold, my favorite WarioWare game. Absolutely fantastic game. Seriously, this is one... It's kind of rare nowadays because it's a 2018 3DS game, so it's kind of hard to find. Didn't sell very well, but it is absolutely fantastic. Tons of mini-games. Fully voice-acted, which is awesome. Which, you know, hasn't happened before. You get to hear full Wario lines, which you've never had that happen before. You can dub over the audio, which, you know, if you've seen my video, you know my dubs, and it's really cool that that's actually a feature. There's a mode called Split Screen, where it's like one micro game, and then another, and it's like back to back. And it keeps on getting faster and stuff, and that's probably one of my favorite modes in any WarioWare game. It's so addicting. Just absolutely fantastic, you know. If you can find it, and it's not like $100, get it. I don't know how much it goes for nowadays, but I'm assuming since it's a 2018 3DS game, it goes for quite a lot. Yoshi's New Island is alright. I, for one, actually enjoy the music, so the music is not an issue with me. The gameplay is, you know, alright. I've played it more than Crafted World, so that's good. But, yeah, it's a fun little game. I've beaten it once. Actually, I think that's it. Beaten it once, and then I did another playthrough, got about halfway in, and just kind of stopped. I haven't played it in a little while, but pretty nostalgic. I played that a lot whenever I first got it. And now we're on to the PS1 games with Crash Bandicoot 2. Absolutely fantastic. Great game. Not my favorite Crash game. My favorite Crash game... shoot, it's actually kind of hard to tell. But my favorite Crash game will come later. This is not my favorite Crash game. But really great game. Absolutely great. Yeah, what else can I say? It's great platformer. Staple of the PlayStation. One of the core franchises. Dexter's Lab, Mandark's Lab. Just, if you see my live stream, you know, I absolutely love this game. Yeah, it's short. Definitely short. It's only like an hour long. And yes, the minigames kind of lack variety, but I don't care. I loved it. I've played this game multiple times. I enjoy the minigames. I enjoy the graphics. I enjoy the storyline, the voice acting. I just love that game. I love that game. Probably one of my favorite PS1 games. Extreme Pinball. This is an interesting one. $5.99. No, that's not. That's Bob the Builder. Can we fix it? I forgot I bought that. It was like a $1 game, but it still had the $5.99 sticker for some reason. I completely forgot I bought that. That was a terrible game, by the way. I sold it, but I honestly wouldn't mind getting it back because of just the funniness factor. Extreme Pinball is alright. It's fascinating, actually. It's a little bit fascinating. It is a port of a... Is it Amiga or DOS? No, it's a port of a Windows 95 game. It's either an Amiga game, Windows 95, or both. But it's got, like, fully MIDI tracks, which I find really cool. Yeah, it's got an entirely soundtrack of cool MIDI files. The gameplay itself, though, is very basic. It's just, you know, your standard pinball game, which, you know, if it doesn't have a lot of flair, I don't really care for it. Jet Moto 2, really great game. Pretty difficult, but, you know, I managed. It's a pretty fun game. I really like Jet Moto 2. It is a pretty darn good game. You know, rightfully up there as one of the PlayStation staples. It is a really fun racing game. NASCAR 98, now we're talking. I don't want 97, I don't want 2000. I just want NASCAR 98. It was a buck. Never played it, honestly. Who knows? It might not even work. I don't know. But, you know, I do like kind of these old NASCAR games, mainly because I don't know a lot of NASCAR racers, but, you know, the ones that I do know are going to be from around this time. So, it was like, it was $1. I'm like, yeah, might have a couple of races of enjoyment. NASCAR 98, I'll try that out in a little bit. The Powerpuff Girls Chemical Extraction. I really enjoy this game. Nobody else does, and I can perfectly see why. It's like 30 minutes long. The PS1 version does have some more difficult opponents. The N64 version is a lot easier, which means if I can find the N64 version at some point, I will definitely get that, by all means. I need to get an N64 first, though. But I kind of enjoy this game. I can definitely see, you know, why people don't enjoy it, and also, like, yeah, the graphics are kind of suck. It's a Power Stone-esque fighter, but the controls are kind of weird, and it's a lot of very button mashy, and especially with the annoying opponents in this game, because the opponents can get, like, really cheap. So the fights just become kind of annoying sometimes. But, you know, I enjoyed enough to keep it, and of course it's Powerpuff Girls game, and I don't have a lot of Powerpuff Girls games. I only have 2, which the second one will come later. Tigger's Honey Hug Collector's Edition. I found out, I think the only difference with the Collector's Edition and the other edition is this came in a 3-game bundle with Tarzan and A Bug's Life. That's the only difference. For $7.99. I've actually never played it. I emulated it. I emulated the N64 version, played it for about 5 minutes, said, oh, this is alright. It's, you know, it's an easy, fun, relaxing game. Bought it on the PlayStation and haven't even put it in. I'm assuming it's good. I do want to try it out at some point, but it seems like a very relaxing, easy platformer, which, you know, that's kind of fun after you play something like Crash Bandicoot 2. It's fun to just kind of go like a relaxing platformer. Anyway, here's a few PS1 games that aren't in the normal cases. Rugrats Search for Reptar. No, I did not pay $1. I think I paid like 10 for this. That's just, you know, different casing. It's a pretty fun game. Being a, you know, semi-Rugrats fan, I still enjoy it. Being a semi-Rugrats fan, you know, I don't enjoy the show, but I enjoy the Rugrats movie, you know, Rugrats in Paris, and Rugrats Go Wild, which I really enjoy Rugrats Go Wild. Yeah, unpopular opinion, Rugrats Go Wild is my favorite of the trilogy. But, you know, being a sort of non-Rugrats fan, it's still enjoyable. You know, it's kind of clunky, but you get used to it. Tekken 2, I just got this very recently, haven't been able to try it out yet. But I played Tekken 3, and Tekken 3 was fun, so hey, Tekken 2 might be good too. I don't know. I know one of the Tekken games include like a dinosaur character, so maybe that one's Tekken 2, I don't know. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, again, very unpopular opinion. I don't like this as much as the first one. I enjoy the first one way better, mainly because of the soundtrack. I don't think the soundtrack in Tony Hawk 2 is nearly as good as the soundtrack in Tony Hawk 1. And the gameplay is pretty much the exact same as Tony Hawk 1, so I'll just play Tony Hawk 1. But I found it for $1, and I'm like, yeah, might as well get it. Okay, now we're on to the PS3 games. So we've got Batman Arkham Asylum. Great game. What can I say? I'm actually one of the few people that actually likes this more than Arkham City. Although I really liked Arkham Origins when I played that last. But it's been a while. But Arkham Asylum, pretty cool. Really like I guess it's because it's linear. That's probably why I like it more than Arkham City. But really great game. Yeah. Really great, you know, action game. Stealth mechanics. Really like action stealthy games. Beyond Two Souls, I haven't been able to try this version out, this PS3 version, but I have played extensively the PS4 version. I really, really enjoy this game. This and, you know, Detroit Become Human. I haven't played, that other game that they made. I forgot their name, the other game that they made. I'm Here to See MF Doom. That's, that's the only thing. I forgot what game it was. Oh, well, I forgot what game it was. But Really enjoy this game. Really, really great game. Really good acting. Got a lot of really great actors on that. I always forget this guy's name. Because he's the Green Goblin in Spider-Man. Anyway, I always forget his name, but they got him in, and perfect. I love him as an actor. Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion XL for $14.99. I absolutely adore this game. Absolutely adore it. I love Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion. Probably in my top 10 favorite video games of all time. It is a just fantastic Smash Bros. Style fighter with a lot of great Cartoon Network characters. There's a few missing that I think, you know, should have been in there, like Ed and Eddie's missing, Courage is missing, Cow and Chicken's missing, but other than that, a lot of great characters, and at the time of this game's release, basically, like, pretty much every Cartoon Network character, aside from the ones that I mentioned that you could think of, you know, Dexter, Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Ben 10, Chowder, Flapjack, they're all there. Including a extra character, which is unveiled at the very end of the game, which is a really nice nod. It's a really old Cartoon Network character, but a really cool nod to old Cartoon Network. Just a fantastic game. Kind of wish it was a little bit longer. That's my one complaint. It's only, I think, 2 hours, 3 hours, but that also means I've beaten it tons of times. I've beaten it probably 15 or so times, so it balances out. Dirt 2. Pretty cool. I like Dirt 2. Honestly, though, I did have it on the 360 before this, before I sold my 360. I mean, I bought back a 360, but I sold my 360. And I like the 360 version better, mainly because driving PS3, the right trigger, it's very weird where your finger kind of just goes like this, and it's like completely vertical, and your finger starts to slide off. So, you know, it's fine, I can use it, but I do wish I had the 360 version. But outside of that game, absolutely fantastic. Really, really great. Would they be considered rally racing games? Yeah, rally racing games. Just really, really great. Good game. My Codemasters, they make a lot of great games. I have it digitally, but I really love Grid as well, which is their street racing game. Really great people, Codemasters. Really great racing games. Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD Remaster, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I said earlier, you know, Final Fantasy, this isn't the one I was talking about. I don't really care for this game that much. It was $1, I bought it, and I don't know. I just can't get with it. Maybe when I try it again, maybe I'll try it again and give it another go, but I don't know. I just can't. Not really a fan of it. What I am a fan of, though, is Final Fantasy XIII. Yeah, I am the one person in the entire universe that says this game is really good. The music is fantastic, the graphics are insanely good, and the battle mechanics are alright too. This is a really amazing RPG. Like I said, I am the one person in the entire universe that will tell you that, but I love Final Fantasy XIII. Great game. Played a lot of that. That's not my original copy, by the way. I used to have another PS3 copy with the manual, which sucks, because I really liked that version. The manual was like thick and colored, and me and my manuals. Hatsune Miku Project Diva, which was not $1, it was $25, but this is just a different box. It's really, you know, it's a really great rhythm game. But I first played the sequel, which, you know, we'll get to the sequel after this. And compared to that, the song list is not that great here. There's not a lot of songs, and I'm like, oh, I love this. And especially now that that Future Tone is out. Is that what it's called, Future Tone? Yeah, the digital one that's on PS4. I got most of the songs in that, and a lot of them are included on there. So I'll probably sell this. Considering that not only is the track list not that great in compared to the second game, but also a lot of the songs are already on Future Tones, so I kind of don't really feel a need to keep this that much anymore, but, you know, it's going up here for now. I'll sell it at some point. Here's the sequel, Project Diva F2. Now, this is just absolutely fantastic. such an amazing rhythm game. This was my first exposure to Hatsune Miku music, and what a start. The track list on here is insanely good. Break It being my, like, standout one. I've played that song like 40 times. I love that song. Really incredible soundtrack. If you're thinking about getting a Project Diva game, and I want to bear in mind, get Future Tone first. I think for a bang for your buck, that's a really great track list for not a ton of money. But if you don't have a PS4, or you're like, I want to get a physical copy, or you're like, I don't really want to buy this DLC stuff, get this. This is a very great second alternative. I will say, though, I haven't played X on the PS4, so, but as far as I've played, this is, like, one of the best, right next to Future Tone. Actually, it's debatable, because I really like this version, but I like how in Future Tone you can immediately change outfits on the fly. Here you have to unlock them, and it takes quite a long time. Kane and Lynch Dead Men, sorry, not Dead Man. I never played it. I bought it about a year ago, bought it for $1, and I was like, cool, and I never played it. But after watching Pyro's video of the sequel, it doesn't look like that fun of a game. But, can't knock it till you try it, I guess. Kung Fu Panda. Now, this is a pretty cool game. I know nostalgia is really, really a big hand in this, but I think this game's great. It's really fun. Beat-em-up mechanics are fun. It's just, I don't know, I really enjoy it. Again, probably nostalgia plays a huge factor into it, but I think it's a pretty fun game. Strays really far away from the movie, but like I said, gameplay's fun. So, doesn't really matter. Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, it's alright. I did not pay $45, by the way. I don't know. Oh, I bought this off a friend, that's right. I bought this off of Bryce, which I think I mentioned in an earlier video, or in the first video. I think I bought it for like $2 or $3, which is pretty good for this game. I'm sorry, Bryce. I think nowadays it's, well, yeah, I think nowadays it's like, nowadays it's probably gone down to like $2, but, at the time it was like 10, so, oh, no, that's what I did. I forgot about that. No, I told him I'd give him more trade value, because he was going to trade them in at, like, GameStop or something. So in that case, yes. In that case, I actually did give him a good amount of money for it. Did I even give him $2? Maybe I gave him more. It's been a while. Anyway, pretty fun game. It's, well, I think the biggest problem is it's a very slow Lego game. Very slow-paced. It's a fine Lego game. It's just, the levels kind of drag on a bit longer. And not to mention, I don't care about the second, third, or fourth film. I love the first movie. The second one bored me to death, and I never watched the third and fourth one because the second one bored me to death. So, but still, still a fun Lego game overall, just really slow. Now, here's the big one. Little Big Planet. Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me rephrase that. I enjoy this game. What I don't enjoy is the difficulty. Do not let this little cute, like, fabric guy fool you. This game is hard. Really hard. Even when I had a friend with me playing it, we were struggling. This is a very difficult game, especially in the later levels. It's still a fun platformer, but yeah, I'd be cautious, and instead I'd get Little Big Planet 2, which I think it's way easier, and I think it's an overall better game. There's so many things improved with this compared to the first game. Like I said, it's a lot easier. They added gadgets. I think it has more personality. This is a very, very fun game. Very good game. Little Big Planet Karting, just, taking from Nintendo. It's Little Big Planet Karting, and it's a fun game. I think it's better than Mon Nation Racers, which is what the studio did before this. It's a little bit easier than Mon Nation Racers. And yeah, it's just basically Mon Nation Racers, but with a Sackboy skin. I mean, it's very by the books when compared to Mon Nation Racers. It's a neat little game, I guess. Too bad the servers are offline. Actually, for all three of these, too bad the servers are offline. Madagascar 3, the video game. People hate this game, and I totally understand why, but I love it because I guess I'm terrible. This game is very slow. It's kind of funny. I'll mention this when I get. I'll like go kind of. Well, I'll just mention this again when I get to Madagascar 1. But it's funny how all 3 Madagascar games, the character speeds slow down with each game. Madagascar 1, the characters are moving really fast. Then Madagascar 2, the characters are kind of like doing a little sprint. And then Madagascar 3, the characters are like walking as slow as possible. But I don't know. I enjoy it. It's a very, very basic puzzle platformer. And you know what? I have fun with it. I've beaten it multiple times, and is it low quality? Oh, most definitely. But I enjoy it. So, Madagascar Carts. Now, here's the big one. This game, $14.99. I did pay that much for it. This is a really fun kart racing game. Really great. I feel like it deserves more love. Because this is a pretty fun kart racing game. I remember playing this a lot when I was younger. Something that is kind of funny about this, which just always gets me, they have a level set on the freighter from the first movie, and it is almost a 1-to-1 replica of Daisy. What is it? Daisy like boat or something. Daisy Cruise. It is like literally a 1-to-1 replica. I mean, of course it's not literally 1-to-1, but like there's so many similarities that you can't just say it's coincidence. I mean, it's obvious they saw that and they said, we can do that. The only problem is, again, the controller. You holding down right trigger to drive, it's fine, but it kind of wears on your finger and your finger starts to kind of slide off. I hate the PS3 controller for that. The PS4 controller does it a lot better, and the 360 controller does it way better than either one. But still a great game. Something that is kind of funny, though, it doesn't, I don't really mind it that much, but there isn't a ton of characters. Mainly, like, well, for a big thing is you got the main cast, and then I think that it amounts to 9 characters, I believe, or maybe just 6. It's 6 or 9. I think it's actually 6, because it's Alex, Gloria, Marty, Melman, the Penguins, and Julian. Oh no, and the Chimps. So maybe it might be, anyway, whatever. Actually, I think that's it. So to kind of boost the roster a little bit, they add Bob from Monster vs. Aliens, Shrek from Shrek, and is that it? That might actually be it. I thought there was one more. No, I'm thinking of DreamWorks Superstar Cards. So just those 2. Oh, that would actually make sense. So 9 characters in total. So yeah, the roster's kind of iffy, and of course, having Shrek in and Bob in, it's a nice little, bonus, but at the same time, it's like, you really couldn't think of any more characters? I mean, Madagascar Cards came out after Escape to Africa. You really couldn't put some of the characters in there. You couldn't put Alex's dad in. You could put Moto. He would be the best character ever. But yeah, the character roster is kind of lacking. Megamind Ultimate Showdown doesn't have a price on here, but I spent $10 for it. I barely played anything of this, honestly. I just need to get around to it. It looks fun, though. I played the first level, and it was alright. Just kind of your standard, beat-em-up platformer. It looks pretty fun. But I barely played any of it. But it looks fun, though. I'll get around to it at some point. MotorStorm. Well, I think many people have said this before, but yeah, the main issues with this game is, one, the menus are super slow to make it through. And yeah, in this game, one big issue is you hit a tiny little bump and your car goes flying and then it explodes. It's a very challenging game. But at that, I'll give it this. I don't like challenge that much, but I remember when there was a race where I won by like half a second, and it was the coolest thing ever. So it's got its moments, but yeah, it's mostly annoying. But that was all fixed with MotorStorm Pacific Rift. This is a great game, great racing game. They fixed a lot of the issues I had with the first one. This is a really, really fun racing game. And, yeah, overall, it's got different environments, much different environments, which is great. And it's just a really, really cool racing game. Excuse me for a second. I had to take a drink. When you talk this much, you got to take a drink. I haven't played Arctic, whatever. I think it's called Arctic Rift as well. And I used to have Apocalypse, but barely played it. But I need to play more of it. Because Pacific Rift is great. And I've heard Arctic Edge. That's it. And I've heard Arctic Edge is good too. NBA 2K12. It was $1, so I bought it. And I kind of feel like I shouldn't have bought it because I'm not a basketball fan. I don't care. I do not care for this game in the slightest. I'm not a basketball fan. I don't find basketball games fun, except for NBA Jam. I love NBA Jam. We'll get onto that later. Same goes for this, NHL 2K8. You might be noticing this box is really crapped because I bought it for not $5, but $1 at a garage sale. Yeah, he had it at $5, and I was like, you know that this game is like 15 years old? Can I get it for $1? And he was like, well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. And I'm like, dude, it's a game from 15 years ago. More than 15. I bought it last year. And I'll give it this. I'm a hockey fan in the very loosest of terms. I like the sport itself, but I don't follow any teams. And I like stuff like NHL Hits and some of the... I think there's a Sega-made one. Is it Sega? I think it's Sega. That I really like. But this one, it's way too in-depth. And of course, that's why... I mean, it makes sense. It's 2K. You know, it's supposed to be, like, super realistic. But it's just too in-depth for me. And I'm like, can I just please press one button to shoot the puck? Why do I need to... You have to, like, rev up your shot by holding down, you know, the analog stick and then release it really quickly and press this button along with it. And I'm like, guys, I just want to push people. I just want to rapid fire a puck. I just want to, like, shoot it really fast. I want to set the goal on fire and I want to punch somebody, which is why I love NHL Hits. Persona 4 Arena, great game. This was actually my first exposure to Persona. Well, what I mean by that is I knew about Persona 5 beforehand. I knew about the other Persona games, but this was the first Persona game I bought. And then quickly after this, I bought Persona 5 and 3 and 4 in that order. But just a really awesome fighting game. I'm not a huge fan of Guilty Gear, but, you know, I probably should get to trying the other games because Arc System Works, man. This is a really fantastic, really awesome game. I did buy Blaze... Oh, no, that's not Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear is made by somebody else. Blaze Blue. Or are they both made by Arc System Works? Anyway, whatever, Blaze Blue. I bought Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle because the Persona characters are in it, and that one's also really good. So, even the Persona... Even not playing as the Persona characters, it's still a fun... I do feel like they also made Guilty Gear, but I could be wrong. Ratchet & Clank All for One for $17.99. No, this was another one bought from Bryce. I think I paid, like, you know, I don't know how much I paid. Like I said earlier with Lyco Pirates, but this is an amazing game. People hate it, and I understand why they hate it. It's not your normal Ratchet & Clank game, but take it out of normal Ratchet & Clank game. Take it for what it is. It's a Ratchet & Clank game made for a little bit younger audience, and take it for what it is. It's a really fun game. I really, really enjoy this game. The only issue with it, and it's a fairly big issue, take a game like SpongeBob Plankton's Robotic Revenge. You can swap characters each stage, and it won't make a difference. You can still beat the game perfectly fine. There are points in this game where it requires you to have a lot of ammo, and the enemies take a ton of hits. Well... Each character upgrades individually, which that happened in SpongeBob, but it was easy enough where you could get through it fine. Here, I remember my first playthrough, I was playing it like SpongeBob. I played Ratchet, and then I played Clank, and then I played Quark, and then I played Dr. Nefarious, and then I got to the fifth level? I got to the fourth level with Dr. Nefarious, and I'm like, holy crap, these enemies are so challenging, and I have barely any ammo. I can't do it. Oh, and also, yeah, SpongeBob had no ammo. That's a big factor. So I was stuck there with enemies that I was forced to kill with ammo, and it was insanely challenging. And I'm like, crap, I got to restart my entire save file. So that's what I did. I restarted the entire save file and just played as Ratchet, and then I got through it fairly well. But that's something that is really, really annoying that I wish wasn't there, because I want to play as other characters. I don't want to be stuck to one character. That's the whole point. It's called All for One. But other than that, I think the game is really fun. You know, outside of that annoyance, I think the game is really, really fun. Next, we have Ratchet and Clank Future, A Crack in Time. Just absolutely fantastic game. I love me my Ratchet and Clank games. You'll see later on. I got a lot of them. Some of them are digital. Actually, a lot of them are digital, but a lot of them are also physical. It's like half are physical, half are digital. Just absolutely fantastic game. Really, 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 really awesome game. Not too hard. So it's like fairly easy for newcomers, and it's got some awesome gameplay, great plot. It works. And then we have Ratchet and Clank Future, Tools of Destruction. Still a really good game, but not as good as A Crack in Time. I remember watching footage of this before I got my PS3. I was really excited to get my PS3, and I watched like a Ratchet and Clank, like top 10 Ratchet and Clank games, and they put this at number 1, and I'm like, after playing it, it's a great game, don't get me wrong, but A Crack in Time was a bit easier. This is pretty darn difficult. And I'm like, it's a really good game, but it's not as good as A Crack in Time. Crack in Time's way better. The difficulty is a big factor of this. It's still a fun game, but yeah, this game can get rough at points. Really rough. But it's still a really fun game. Also, there's a quote on the back here that I find kind of hilarious. The first game to truly deliver the long-sought "you are playing a Pixar movie" experience. New York Times guy, have you seen this game? I mean, it doesn't look bad by any means, but at the time of this game's release, what was it, 2007? Ratatouille came out. And, like, was it Ratatouille? Or Ratatouille's 2008? No, it was 2007 because we got an Xbox release. Ratatouille came out, and like it looks 10 times better than this. So it's like, it's just kind of funny, like a little bit overboard with that thing. Resident Evil 5, why the disc is going out? It's because it not only has the game but also a bonus disc. Don't know what the bonus disc is. I never tried it out. Don't know what the game is. I never tried it out. I'm not a Resident Evil fan. It was $1. Yeah, it's one of those things where it was $1. I bought it, and I haven't even played it because I'm not a Resident Evil fan. My experience with Resident Evil is very short. I went for Resident Evil 4 first because people said that one was the best. I hated it, and then I never tried another I never tried another Resident Evil game. So, yeah. Now, people say, like, oh, 4 is so good, 4 is so good. I tried playing it. It sucked. I'm sorry. Maybe that's just a me thing, but Resident Evil 4 sucked. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to sell this at some point. Or, who knows? I might actually really enjoy it. You never know. You know, at some point I will go ahead and try it out, and you never know. It might be so different from... I know I've heard that Resident Evil 5 and 6 are very different from Resident Evil 4, so it's possible. Maybe I might enjoy it. Resistance Fall of Man. This one was another $1 game. And it's okay, I guess. It's not that great. I've played good shooty games. This one's an okay shooty game. It's just kind of there. Kind of forgettable. You know, kind of, well, it kind of reflects the times. It's a very PS3 shooty game. It's really dark. Not in terms of story. The story's kind of like meh. But, you know, and it just, visuals, it's just really dark, really muddy, and it's just like, it's just not too great. But in terms of greatness, Sly Cooper Thieves in Time is fantastic, which is crazy because watching footage of it, watching reviews, apparently people don't like this game very much, which, why? I really enjoy Thieves in Time. And it's not like I've only played Thieves in Time. I've played Thievius Raccoonus before. And I do notice the differences, but this is still a great game. Differences and all. This is a really, really great... I will say this, it focuses more on the stealthy side rather than Thievius Raccoonus. Thievius Raccoonus, while it was a little bit stealthy, it was very platformy, and this one kind of focuses more on the stealth side of things, but I think it's really good. Yeah, I think it's really, really fun. I enjoy it. Here, I'm gonna move the PlayStation games. There you go. I want them to be right next. Oh boy, here we go. Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. So, unpopular opinion, I do actually enjoy this game quite a bit. Nostalgia plays a massive role into it. This was, believe it or not, this was the first Sonic game I ever played. And you know what? When I first played it, I loved it. If this game did not exist, or... Actually, yeah, if this game did not exist, I would have never gotten into Sonic. Here's the funny thing. So... I got a 360 in 2008, and I had $50 to work with. So what did I do? I bought Sonic the Hedgehog. Actually, well, first off, I got Cars, the first game. It was $20, and I was like, okay. And then I got the Lego Indiana Jones and Kung Fu Panda double disc, and that was $10. Probably because it was a console bundle, so it was like really common. And I was like, oh, I got $20 left. Let me look through the $20 bin. And I found this. And I don't know what it was. Was it the cover? Something about it. But I said, yeah, sure. Oh, by the way, yeah, I originally had this on 360. And then over the course of time, I got a PS3 release of it. But, yeah, I don't know what it was. But I bought it, and shoot, I enjoyed it. I played it quite a lot. And that's what got me into the Sonic franchise. And yeah, I'm still a Sonic fan today, thanks to this game. So, and I can still have fun with it. Not nearly as much fun as I did, but I can still, play 3 or 4 Sonic stages and still have some fun. Maybe even a Shadow stage and still have some fun. Maybe even a Silver stage. Boss fights are pretty cool too. So, what can I say? But thank you, Sonic 06. You're terrible, but I still have fun with it. It's a guilty pleasure. Oh, and you might be wondering, 2008, why was Sonic 06 $20? It's because it's terrible. Nobody wanted it, so it went down to $20. It was in the $20 bin. But yeah, like I said, I originally had it on 360, and then later on got it on PS3. The 360 was, at the time of me getting the PS3, the 360 was like the living room console, the family console. And the PS3 was my console, so I was like, oh, I want this for my PS3, because that way I can play it in my room. So, there's Sonic 06. Next up, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Yep, it's the basic edition. No, it's not. It's the Legendary Edition. I don't know, what's the difference? What is the difference between the Legendary Edition and Skyrim? There's like 18 different versions of Skyrim out there. It's good, yeah. I haven't played a ton of it, but what I've played, I enjoyed. Very nostalgic, that game. I remember, you know how I said the 360 was the family console? I remember my brother and dad pre-ordered Skyrim and played a lot of it. So while I haven't played a lot of it, I've watched them play a lot of it, so it's very nostalgic in that factor. A good game. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Future Soldier. This was a buck game, so I decided to pick it up, and I played a little bit of it, and yeah, I do think it's a pretty good shoot game. I need to play more of it, but from what I played, I enjoyed it, which is surprising. Like I said, most of these $1 shoot games I tend to not enjoy that much. Tony Hawk's Proving Ground. Thank you. The $1 sticker covered it, so it's just Tony Hawk's Proven. I've played nothing of this game. I haven't even put it in my console once. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know, but it's a Tony Hawk game for the PS3, which, given my experience, Tony Hawk games kind of went down after Underground. Maybe Underground 2 is really good. I've heard that one's really good. But I really liked Underground 1 on the Xbox, and I have American Wasteland, and it's not that great. So, maybe good, maybe bad, I don't know. I guess I'll try it out eventually, but I feel like this is not going to be a very good one, especially since I've heard nothing about this game. I didn't even know it existed until I bought it. Untold Legends Dark Kingdom. This is a very bland, very boring Diablo style what is strategy, I guess? What kind of style of game it is. Yeah, just one of the most boring games you have ever played in your life. I think it's mainly because it was meant to be played online. But playing single player, yeah, it is so freaking dull. At some point, I will definitely sell that. Really, really boring, really slow. It ain't no Diablo. Actually, then again, Diablo, I guess I just don't really care about Diablo that much. I guess I'm just not that big of a Diablo fan, but I do remember enjoying Diablo 3 a little bit, so maybe. Up. Yeah, Up. This game's fun. Just a nice little, easygoing puzzle platformer. It's pretty good. I have to mention, I used to have the PS2 version, which is an entirely different game, and that was one of the worst games I've ever played. So it's nice that the PS3 version is a good game. Seriously, oh my gosh. The PS2 version, for one thing, it's really difficult, which is so strange. It is, like, insanely challenging. But not only that, it has one of the worst minigames I have ever played in a video game. It's a rafting minigame where to raft, you have to constantly move the analog stick left and right. It's like they saw Mario Party 1's rafting game and they said, we gotta do it. It is one of the most, like, annoying, and just it hurts your hands and you die so easily. But that's the PS2 game. This one, it's really fun, it's really easy. Just a fun, easy puzzle platformer. Really great. Next, we move on to, well, actually, there's a couple bonus PS3 games. These are the ones that don't have boxes. Infamous, which was interesting. I found this for $1, and I'm like, why does it say collection when it's only the first game? And I think it's because this was a pack-in title, I'm assuming. But it's a fun game. I played a little bit of it. I played about an hour or so, and yeah, I enjoyed it. It's an interesting game. I want to play more of it. And of course, you got to have your second copy of Little Big Planet. No, I did not pay $15 for this. This was just kind of on my own. I found it for $1. I don't know why I bought it because it's Game of the Year edition. But since this matches the box, I decided to keep this version. So I was like, well, I guess I got a second copy of this for no reason. Yeah, I'll sell that at some point. Next, we move on to the PS4 games, and of course, since we're at the very end of the shelf, there's only going to be 2, and then this video will continue. The next video will continue on with the remaining PS4 games. But we've got Adventure Time: Finn and Jake Investigations. I did an entire, I think it's 5-part live stream of this. It's a pretty fun game. A lot of people don't like it because it's too dull. I actually think it's really cool. I think the puzzles are really, really neat and really make you think. You feel it's kind of one of those games where you feel really good when you figure out what to do. And I think the art style, it looks great in 3D. Ooh, my finger's in the way. Hopefully it's not been in the way this entire time. But yeah, the art style actually looks pretty cool in 3D. I still think it looks better like sprite art, you know, like with Finn and Jake Investigations. That's this game. What I mean by that is Explore the Dungeon. That's the one I was thinking of. I just this was, like, I guess the game that rolled off the tongue. But, you know, for 3D art, looks pretty good. It's very nice. And finally, you gotta love them. It's Bubsy the Woolly Strike Back, or in this case, Bubsy Woolly Strike Back, because I guess the was too long. A lot of people hate this game, and I gotta admit, I definitely see its flaws, and I definitely understand why people hate it, but I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed this fine. It comes with the soundtrack. Not like, it's not great, and I totally understand why people hate it, and some of the problems I also have with, you know, some of the problems other people have, I also have problems with it, but I can play a few levels, you know, take it out, pop it back in 2 months from now, play a few levels, you know, and I still enjoy it. I still think it's fun. And what's also interesting is it's made by the developers of Giana Sisters Twisted Dreams. And if you know that going in, you're like, oh my god, there's so many reuse assets. The entire engine is reused from Giana Sisters, and the pounce ability, I'm pretty sure, was also in Giana Sisters. So, yeah. Anyway, that's it for row number 2, and row number 3 will have the rest of the PS4 games with some PS5 games. So, there you go. See you next time.